I should shave my head though. I'm feeling a little. Oh, I kind of split the difference. You've got the hat, you've got the bald head. I have the hair and the hat, so it works.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming to this Portfolio Review Friday. This is sponsored by Use Pastel. Use Pastel is an application where you can do some reviews with a live application or website. We'll show a little bit of how that works today. But I usually do these portfolio reviews every Friday offline. But I figured, you know what, like it's easier to talk about it than to type this all out. We'll do a little bit of showcasing how Pastel works, but most of this is going to be all on video and reviewing. I have Jason here and Chris. First off, I'm Shashi. I'm a senior UX engineer at Microsoft. Just enjoy helping people out and enjoy reviewing portfolios. I have hired many developers and engineers before, so reviewing portfolios is nothing new to me. And I've done their portfolio review for almost 2 years or 3 years now. I don't know. I've been looking back at my history. It's been crazy. But reviewed hundreds of portfolios, provided tons of feedback and all that stuff. But I want to move on to Jason. If you can introduce yourself real quick, that'd be great.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Jason Torres. I am currently a member of the Gridiron Survivor project that Shashi is running. I am also an AppWrite hero. I've done 5s of 10s of portfolio reviews, which has been an awesome experience for me as far as learning what I need to do with mine as a career transitioner. So happy to be here.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. I didn't know my mic was incorrectly used. This must sound a lot better. Chris, go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Chris Nowicki. I am also a member of the Gridiron Survivor team working on the back-end code for the project for Shashi. I have done 0 portfolio reviews in my lifetime. But, you know, I think from working on mine so many times after getting a couple people to review mine, including you, Shashi, at one point in time, I think I get a better idea of what's being looked for and help I can provide some just insight as with both of you portfolio review professionals.
Thanks, Chris. I think that's the beauty of this is there's a spectrum of inexperience, mediocre, and a lot of experience. All these points of views are going to come to life, and that's going to be awesome. All right, let's dig right into it. Boom. All right, so this is Pastel. I'm going to show this off a little bit. We have 6 portfolios today. When I post to submit your portfolios, the reason why I ask like 1 or 2 questions after that is to show how serious you are about reviewing portfolios. When I used to do it, I used to review like 50 portfolios a week, right? And the feedback I give, it takes time and effort. And I do not want it to go to waste. And I've seen a lot of it like go to waste. It's like, oh, whatever, it's information. I'm going to leave it alone. So that's why I ask those questions. So please, if you submit your portfolio, answer the questions I give you. It's super simple. Yesterday's question was, who's your favorite college team? It could have been a pro team, college team. And then do you dance? That's it. That is very simple. But if you provide that, that's showing me that you're putting the effort in, and I'm going to give you the effort back. So cool. All right, let's dive right into this. So I'm going to open this canvas up. Oh, you cannot see my canvas, huh? Oh boy, I gotta redo this. All right, let me turn this off. It's awesome doing this live.
Best way to do it, trial by fire.
Trial by fire. I'm gonna move these screens because give me a second here to reconfigure this. Okay, we're gonna go and share my entire window. All right. Olatoyan. Olatoyan?
Hello there. I'm Olatoyan.
Olatoyan George. Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably call him Ola for short.
My name is Amigo Terez, and I killed your father.
All right. So quickly, Pastel. There's a tool here, right? These are comments. You can browse. You can browse without commenting. Once you click on the commenting tool, you can click here and comment. What I usually do right away is I do a first look. This is from my perspective. I'm gonna share this link to Jason and Chris as well. I should probably not show you guys that. That's live, completely live. Um, that way they can provide their own feedback too if they want to, and we can see right on the screen. But what I usually like to do is come here and do a first look. I always say first glance or first look. Overall, for myself, it's very clean, simple. It's kind of the colors are kind of dull, but it might work. I'm gonna have to see the rest of the theme itself. But what do you guys think?
I like the simplicity of it. I'm curious to see how the rest of the screen plays out. I trying to zoom in at the top here. I see home, text text projects. I like an easy to see nav bar with the socials like just right there.
I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit. Okay.
It's a cool logo too. I would love to know the relevance of it.
Interesting.
Agreed. I like the up down logo. I like the simplicity. It's very minimal, not a lot of crazy colors at first glance. Yep.
What if it's not an up down, it's a back or a Z?
Oh, that was deep. I mean, it's very intentional, whatever it is.
Goodness.
So I am kind of curious, like
Yeah.
what the motivation was.
All right. It's okay. We'll move on. Okay, so right away on the top, I have this hover state, right? It's a simple hover state, it's fine. But there's no hovers on these icons, but there's an action. That's always a red flag to me because of accessibility and user experience. So I will comment that. Please provide a hover style for any links or actions. Okay. And again, if I go back here, right, the comments, you'll see that my 2 comments are here.
Yep.
And I can click on them and it will take me directly to that location where I pointed it to. So if I gave it to Chris and when I reviewed his portfolio, he could click on these comments and he knew exactly what I was talking about. Because I mean, this is very generic, right? What am I talking about here? Well, because I clicked on these icons, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think the other thing that it makes it super easy to go through and kind of check, gives you almost a to-do list as you're going through it, kind of. Initially, go back to without zoomed in look.
Oh, okay.
Go back to all right. So I love the simplicity, but up front it feels too close to the top. So I think there needs to be some breathing room. And I think on the left-hand side, I love what he has there. Hello, I'm George, but I think that could go up a little bit more. I think that could be a little bit bigger. I really have to squint to look down at that. And there's a lot of real estate to the left of the image that can be used.
I was thinking there is a lot of negative space. It is nice, but you could definitely make that font bigger.
Okay. I am going to contradict you guys and say that I actually like it. It's very simple. I do agree with the spacing on top. Like this first fold, like the tech stack is there. But again, right, it depends what screen size you're at. Like at 125, which is probably on a small screen at 1200, this is probably what it looks like. It's perfect. But if you scale it, right, if I keep scaling it, it's going to create some more space.
Yeah.
And it is nice to have spacing, but the one thing that I would call it right away is I would have call to actions here. This is my pet peeve for heroes. Have 2 CTAs, which are call to actions, one to your projects and another one to your resume or content. The reason why I say that is because as a reviewer, if I come on here right away, you're trying to introduce yourself, which is fine, but the main meat to me is the projects, right? I want to get there. I want to see if it's even worth my time to dig in a little bit more. Typical reviewers take a few seconds, 2-3 seconds to look at this and say, I'm good, I'm gone. Why? We have hundreds and hundreds of applications, right?
How am I gonna use 5 minutes for 100 applications? That's 500 minutes, which is a couple hours of reviewing. I don't have that much time, right? So I have to go through quickly find out, okay, is it worth my time to dig further in? By doing that, I'm gonna go to projects, right? And I say, okay, let's look at this project. And I usually look at the first one. Why? Because your first one should be the most important. When I look at that, glancing it, okay, this is nice layout. I'm gonna click on and review it. And then after that, if I want to find out more, then I'll be like, okay, now let's go find out more about Ola, right? Let's look at your tech stack, your projects, and all that stuff. There's a flow. There's like a hierarchy involved in there. And then the contact is, okay, now I know I can contact you here, but call to actions, they make you want to click on it, right? They should make you choose that you should direct your user to do what you want them to do.
And Olatoyan, Shashi had the exact same feedback on mine. I had call to actions, but I didn't have it clear which one was the primary one as a primary button. So that's the other thing. When you put 2 items there, I would make your projects the primary click, because that's the first thing, and then contact like a secondary styling for that specific button. And even and I know we'll scroll down a little bit more, but I mean, this looks very similar to the flow that I had at first. I had the tech stack right below. I would put your projects right there at the top.
Yeah, I would definitely reorder that too. Shashi, I'm kind of curious though, with the nav bar there, with being able to go right to the portfolio, do you need to have the buttons as well, or is that a little redundant?
Yes. The reason why is because when the user comes on, they're going to look at this first, right? Mostly they look at what you have in the hero. That's why it's called the hero section. And so when they look at this, you want to entice them to go directly to where you want them to go, right? Next, it's like think about a step process. First step, look at the hero. Okay, second step, hey, this is my primary action. I want you to go to my projects. Got it. Third step, okay, now you can contact me if you want. But again, you make a good point. It's up to the user. If they say, you know what, that's nice and all, but I want to go to the contact right away. You can do that, right? There's a menu. The menu is there for a reason. But I will say this is when you get a mobile.
That was what I was going to bring up too. Is if that's a hamburger menu, you're not even seeing those.
Right.
So yes, the hierarchy.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Well, and back in the go back to the desktop view. I think something that I've picked up, and I agree, Jason, like that's a solid point of like, yeah, it's right up there, top user choice. Is it redundant? But when you first look at this page, after looking at a few reviews you've done, Shashi, where's your eye initially drawn to? My eye is not drawn up to the top right.
For sure.
It's actually drawn right there to the middle. And so then as I start to explain also, are you noticing that bug too in the nav bar?
Yeah, I did notice. Yeah, I was going to ask.
It's a bug. It could be a bug or it could be Pastel. Pastel is a little bit buggy, I'd say. But yep, we'll keep going.
Yep.
Yeah, and y'all make a good point. Is I always say that, and I always say the eye test, right? Where does your eye go right now? The colors are very dull, which is fine. But my eye is not going to this. My eye is going to this image, right? It's really bright. It's blue. That's not bad in this case. Like you could see a little bit, and then you could come back here, right? Because the contrast is good enough. But once you have, okay, let's do this. Let's do some magic.
I love when you do this, man. This is great.
Okay, we'll see if the styles are there though. We're gonna do it live. Oh.
Also, I love the little rhino sticker on his laptop. That's kind of cool.
Kind of reminiscent of the 2 triangles. I wonder if it's some sort of a play on like a geometric symbolism of that.
Now I really want to know, Olatoyan, you need to respond to this and tell us what those arrows are.
Oh man, I don't have any styles here. Padding. I'm just gonna mock this up real quick to kind of show you what. Whoa, that was pretty cool. Live coding is awesome.
Yeah, this is happening real time.
I'm just gonna do this real fast. I would not do this in my styles, but to kind of space it out, right?
Yeah. You're just doing it.
I'm just mocking it up real fast, and then obviously I would do border like right. It's usually like a pill,
Yeah.
15 or so. Sure, this style might be a little bit less at 12. And so now you see that, and then font size. I don't know. They're definitely not that big.
Yeah, right about there.
Okay,
That
and
looks pretty good.
then
Are you're putting more than one?
I have 2 right now.
Yeah.
Right now it looks better, and then okay, you should have these ready to go. Okay, and now because it's bold, I can reduce the size of that, right? Because now it looks a little better, and then so okay, so clearly looking at this, right, you can see that my ITAS is not going to the image anymore.
Yep.
It's going to the button, right? That's the direction I want to take the user, and the user is going to go. Most likely, they're going to go there. And then when you add this guy in,
Yeah, margin left. Let's say like.
and then this is
Yep.
going to be white, transparent,
And then a border of white.
border 2,
Maybe padding.
white, solid.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know. Okay, that looks okay. But you can see, right, you have a primary and my ITAS on right away.
Yep.
When I go there, it's now over here because the weighted of the button on the image is not I'm not going there as much anymore. I'm going to the left. There's no hovers and all this stuff, but you can see now, like, you're directing the user, right? Okay, I'm gonna look at, hey, I'm here. Oh, I'm gonna go to projects.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you want me to take me. Bam, it's gonna go to projects. All right, let's keep moving. We spent a lot of time on this portfolio.
Yeah, we'll move through quickly.
Yeah.
Not specific to this one, but as far as somebody that's new to building a portfolio, and obviously there's a whole psychological aspect.
There
of assessing
is.
a page like that. How do you? Where maybe like some resources for somebody to kind of look at, because honestly, as far as that's well beyond just basic, and I know a lot of people watching are just building these for the first time.
That's a great point you bring up. I've been meaning to build a website just for portfolios, and I'm going to, because I feel the need for that, where like what Chris said, I give this comment to every portfolio, is that you're missing call to actions, or your call to actions is going to the wrong places, or you need a primary and secondary. Why? Shoot, I don't know if they have it.
Can you name the website Portfolio Pros?
Portfolio Pros. So you see here, right? Even on Slack.com, if I go here, they have call to actions right here. Even though you can do everything
It's
up
like
at the
right
top,
at eye level.
it is right there, right? So a lot of websites do the same thing. It's a common style or theme or construction, where the call to actions, you want them to go to places. And so by building a portfolio that looks kind of like a corporate site, then it's more like, okay, I think you kind of understand the modern ways of web design. Obviously, you don't need to be a designer, but to have that, it helps, because as I'm browsing websites, right, if I go to okay, I don't know, I haven't been here for a while, to be honest. See, this pre-order, right? That's right there. This is a big hero. Same concept, right? They don't have a secondary one, but they have a big call to action right here for this product. You go there, that's where they want to take you. And then now you have sections, the same thing. They have a bunch of call to actions. And you can look at the contrast, right? It's white. And if I did, I should have default black, dark mode. It's not there, but the contrast is really big. My eye test is going to these products and to the button. It's very corporate looking. Yes, it's kind of boring, but a lot of startups do it too. It's the same concept, that these call to actions, they put a lot of weight onto your portfolio, your application, and everything. But yes, maybe this year I'll build that site. because I feel like a lot of the feedback I provide can be put into that site to kind of say, hey, this is the common issues I've seen. Here are some things you should look at, and psychologically, like what are we looking at, right?
Mm,
Cool. All right, let's go to projects real quick. I want to get your guys' take first.
Can you just click everything and just make sure it's functional? Because that's one thing that I have noticed is broken links.
Okay. This one does work.
oh, I know that project.
Run in Mentor. And then can we view the code? Yeah, Pastel does this thing where it goes
Yeah.
through that thing and then it pops out.
All right, it has a README file. Very cool. All right.
README, good. Links here too. Very cool. I think these will work too.
Those work.
That
I
one
think
works.
again on those, one of those. So the live, if the live preview is the primary call to action, that should be a different
Mhm.
color. So something that's more primary to call them to that.
Yeah.
Whichever one they want. It doesn't matter if you want view code to be
Agreed.
primary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep. What about the construction of these cards? What do you think?
I don't hate them. I think they're a
Yeah.
little wordy. I feel like it could be more of a 50-50 or a little bit more prominent in the image as opposed to the body of the text. But,
Yep.
you know,
One other feedback that I have is I think I've seen this a lot, but put your hover over the image, right? That changes, right? I
Mhm.
think that image should change anytime their mouse goes into that entire, so it shows
Oh,
it
okay.
as a
In the card.
you're on that
sure,
project.
yeah, that makes sense.
Tailwind has a group hover feature that is really nice. You put group at the parent, and then down below you do group dash hover.
I think he's using Talon from what I saw.
That's what it looks like. If it's
Yep,
if it's got
yep,
the TW,
yes.
yep. So
Yeah.
I would point in the direction of the group hover feature. It's one of my favorite Tailwind features.
Nice. I would say this. Some of my work, I don't care about that.
Yeah, it's obvious.
You
rid of
can
that.
remove that. Like you
Yep.
can remove that. It's totally fine. Having the heading there is great. Great point, guys. That this feels like it's heavy, but let me show you.
Overall, I like it. I mean, it's still clean. Everything's there.
Yeah. Like really great job. Again, I think anyone who's watching this, the goal isn't this is all constructive criticism, right? We got to be able to share our work, receive feedback. I mean, this is a great portfolio site. You got projects, you got stuff. It's just tweaking little things to drive better engagement when you're applying for jobs. And
What if
maybe
it was like
reorder
this?
it? I liked
Yeah.
the way you just did the full tiles. Yeah, that looks great.
The
Much
reason why I bring
better.
that up is because the columns that you have, they matter, right? When it's like this, it's tight. If you have a good short description, it looks long and tight now, like what Jason was saying. But
Yeah.
it's all in the design aesthetics, right? Not it's 2x2, right? And it's a lot easier to read. It's like, oh, there's more space for the content to
Yeah,
flow.
I like that a lot.
And so this looks a lot better already. And then agree with Chris as well. These buttons, there's no hovers on them, and they need to be call to actions where they need to be solid buttons.
Yep.
It's a psychology thing where, again, right, if I go to the top, look at
Make
this.
it match those.
They-
Make
they
it
make me-
match those because then it's
Yep, so it
consistent.
flows.
Yeah, and they
Yep.
make me want to click them, right? They make you like,
Yep.
oh, I want to click it. I want to click it. When it's text like that, it's like, okay, cool. It's a link. I'm not drawn to it, but you want
Yep.
the user to click on it.
I would also say this: move that to the top over the tech stack. Tech
Yeah.
stat is cool to have. I actually removed mine completely from my site because it just provides no. If people are looking at this, I think you brought it in is because you, Shashi, you said if people see those that know, they're going to look at this and go, "Oh, okay, he knows it's right there. He knows React, TypeScript, Express, MongoDB." It's nice to have those other pretty pictures of all. I mean, I love the logos; they're great of all the different stuff.
Up here.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, have your portfolio first. If you want to keep
Yeah.
those, move it down. If you want to get rid of it, or put it on a separate resume page or something. I don't know.
Yep,
I would
agree.
lose it altogether, like you
Yeah.
said. I'm not a fan of redundancy, and I would say outside of putting the projects first, also rank them in hierarchy. You know, make sure that like maybe the most advanced or something that you
It's
really
first.
put a lot of effort into is first. Yeah, like
Yep.
your MVP repo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I would say is by doing that, keep them just like this, but do not like have the bar or the percentage of how good you are in that, because it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it matters because for you, you feel like you're 90% in CSS, or let's say that, and I'm like, dude, I'm at 60%. I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah. That's a given.
You're better than me. Okay, that's cool, no, but
Yep.
let me dictate as the reviewer how good you are. Right? Tell me
Mhm.
what you're where you're at, what technologies you have, and then
Yeah.
as I go through your code and review your work, I will know where your skill set's at. I won't even do a percentage. I'll be like, okay, intermediate, beginner, intermediate, better, advanced, or whatnot. Okay, to close this out, I would for projects, I would not do 6 projects. I would do 3. But if you go to the 2x2, right, 2 projects is just fine, or 4.
Agreed.
And if you have
Definitely.
you want to list more, you already have your GitHub here that goes to all your projects. Inside your GitHub, organize your projects in your GitHub. I should probably go there and figure it out, because your portfolio should be slimmed down to your best work. You do not need to show everything. Show your best work. As you have better work, replace it, right? Replace your work with better work. Oh, it's not working. It's okay. Yeah.
I think to the point you were making about the rankings of the different like skills, I think that can shoot you in the foot too. Because if you show up, and it's a perfect example is those GitHub grades.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
If you've got a D or a C, like, who's
boy.
no one is that's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
That'll bite you quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and you see how where you have pinned here? This is perfect. Like pin your best work here, your
Yep.
best 4, 6, whatever. And then your portfolio is already showing me your best 2 or 3 or 4 works, right? If I go through your site, I'm probably only going to look at 1 or 2 projects and I'm done. If
Yep.
I want to go deeper and say, hey, these are really good, let me go deeper. I can go into your GitHub and review the rest of them.
Yep.
Not a problem. But if I'm going to look at more, I'm
I would do
not going to.
4 of your top ones.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then fast, I will remove the form. I don't fill out forms anymore. I would just throw your social media links up there and everything. It's kind of gone. Because the reason why is then you have to maintain this form and whatnot. Like you don't want to do that. It's your portfolio. Let them get to you fast. Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay. All right. Quickly, let's move on. The next one, we're already 30 minutes in, and we only got one done.
We'll go
We're
quicker
flying.
now. 'cause-
We are
Well, we
flying.
talked a lot about like theory.
It always
talked-
happens.
I
It
think
always
the
happens. Trust
reverberating
me.
theme though is you want to use this to highlight stuff, not extend the conversation, because this is the gateway to a
Yeah.
conversation. So
Mm,
you want to give them the key pieces to make them want to connect with you. If they can't find it,
Oh,
they're
my
just going to
goodness.
find somebody else. How
Exactly.
do you
Yeah.
say this one, Shashi? Could you find harder names for us?
Yeah, this is insane.
Oguzan. Ogul. See the up and down? Oguzan.
Oguzan.
Ah,
Okay, Oguzan. Got it.
Oguzan.
Well, I'm just right out of the jump here. It's a little busy for me.
yeah, I am
Okay.
overwhelmed. I'm like,
Okay.
what? Where?
Mhm.
He's online.
Okay, let me ask you, what's overwhelming you about this portfolio?
There's-
I just see so many icons, so many things. Like I don't know where to look. Like that eye line. If I'm focusing on that first, I see his name. But where do I
see
go
his
next?
name. There's menus on the left. There's buttons down there. There's buttons to the right. There's buttons over here, and everything is the same. There's no primary call to action. Now, I get it. This is like really cool, like menu on the left and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the point is draw people exactly to a quick. If I go to this, I'm like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, I'm moving on. Like I'm not going to look through this much more. But I get it. It's cool. It looks like he's using Shad CN.
Well, the thing too is it's like, what role are you trying to apply to? If I'm looking at this as maybe a UI or UX role,
Are you a
that's what
designer?
he's yeah,
Front end?
like this is this your motivation? Is this how you do things? Like for me, I don't know that this is necessarily something, again, it's all how people are perceiving it.
Yep. Great point, guys. It's very busy for me as well. First look is I like the menu. I do
Yep.
like the menu, but then if we were to segregate that and decouple that and just show just
Just that
the
hero.
as your first item, right? Like, look
And
at
get
that.
rid of those social at
Like,
the bottom.
that, right? Just like
Yeah.
that's a lot cleaner. Like, I'm zoomed in pretty far, and it looks a lot cleaner already.
Yep.
Like it's making me feel like it's clean, but when it's not and it's 100%, like it is very busy because these icons are these. I feel like because these elements have this border and everything has a border, it makes it feel like everything is clickable and it doesn't look like everything is. It just makes because it's a secondary element, right? And
Yeah.
if you hover with it, that's the primary. That should be the primary action color because my eye goes there, but there is no primary action right now. So that also doesn't make me understand where I should go. I understand there's a lot of menus over here, right? Menu items over here where I can go and navigate around to Jason's point earlier. But the point of mine is like you want to direct the user where you want them to go to. If there's stages in life, right, where you are beginning and you want people to view your projects, that's fine. You already have a job. You're a content creator. You don't want them to go to your project. You want them to go to your blog. That's where your call to action is, right?
Yep.
Now, your experience. You don't care about content. You don't care. You're a speaker. You want them to go to learn more about you, right? Like your portfolio should dictate what you want out of it. If it's to get a job, then your projects are important. If it's to get a speaking engagement, then to learn more about you is important, right? The work is less important. The work to speak and stuff is important, but they want to know more about you and if you fit their culture and all that.
So I'm looking, and I guess points for having the buttons right under that Memoji, but is say hello his contact page? I assume see my work
It
is his
is.
portfolio, which is good. You know,
Yep.
I'll give him props for that, having those there, because again, directly there.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. Oh, that's cool.
Hey,
I do like that.
Hey.
That
Hey,
could just be something
hey.
that sits that could be a phenomenal footer. Put in a sitemap and that, and then you got a phenomenal footer right there at the bottom that's on every page, not separate.
Yeah, agree. Okay, quick portfolio real fast. This is a video or a GIF. GIF. Is it GIF or GIF? It's GIF for me.
It's wow.
This could be a debate. Okay, and then we have project details, right? I'm gonna click on that. Okay, and then it takes you to more of a case study of the project here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you can see the demo and GitHub link.
All right,
which
a little
goes to
bit
the
more
code.
details.
More details. The journey's here. This then slides to these are GIFs
Oh.
and these are
No one, but
content.
remember,
okay. Now I got lost here. I don't know where I went.
that's
Okay.
because you're scrolling in a right
in a carousel.
in a carousel.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, this is where carousel does work. I'll tell you that
Dang
right
it,
now.
Shashi.
Because it's not a hero. Okay, it's not a hero.
It's valid.
It's a case study where I'm meant to be here intentionally, right? And then this steps me through. Obviously, I would still say it's not the best because
Those
you have
buttons need to be
stages.
bigger.
Yeah, and the stages makes it. It'll be nice to scroll down to the stages and jump around if I want to.
have
and,
it. Yeah,
And because right now I'm forced, if I want to go to stage 4 right away, I'm forced
it'd
to
be
click
cool if as
through.
you were scrolling, it would automatically move for you and then continue moving on.
Features, challenges, very cool.
This is a very, very thorough breakdown
Yeah.
of the project.
It's
I will
So
say.
let me go.
phenomenal.
Okay, now let me go back to projects. Okay, now knowing what you know now, how does this feel for you? Like in first look of the portfolio section or project section.
I like the symmetry. I feel like it is a little bit more balanced. Are there more than 2, or is this it?
There are 4.
So I think. Sorry, I just coughed really loudly in the mic. I agree. I like the symmetry of it. There's only 4. Again, I think that kind of making them 4.
Oh my goodness, we have so many comments. I haven't kept track of them.
Yeah,
Oops.
Jason and I are
There's a
here
lot
trying
going-
to
there's a
keep
lot
up.
going
Okay, good. Y'all figure that out because
Jeff.
I'm
Frickin'
just too
Jeff.
busy doing this. All right, go ahead, keep going.
You're fine.
Yeah. I would. Hey, here's my thought. I think it's. Go ahead, Jason. You go.
Oh, I was. You finish.
All I was going to say is similar to what we saw in the last one. This is great, but again, maybe have a hover effect or something when you put your mouse over, some of the details come up so that they could quickly get to each project. When I look
that's
over
not
to the
good.
right there, HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, not really needed. React says it all. You're going to be doing CSS,
Mhm.
HTML5, and so
Mhm.
you don't need
Yep.
any of those along with React.
So I tell you
Admittedly,
guys something.
the more we move around his page, the more and more I'm hating the side nav bar
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
it's just drawing my focus, and it just feels like it makes the whole page uneven. What does this look like on like mobile as well? Not
oh
that it
yeah,
really
let's go mobile
matters.
view real quick.
Hold on. Even that looks better. Like,
There you go.
you know,
Yes, less
for sure.
crowded.
like I
Yep.
think that's
does
and that's the key, right? And I think that's why the left nav in this case doesn't work well because it's too busy.
Mhm.
And that I mean, I love the look of it. It's a great look, but then there's a certain case when it works and a certain case when it doesn't work.
Right.
It could even be I think I know what's busy about it too is these outlines. Like if I take them out, like it already feels better. You know what I mean? And then okay, I was gonna say this too. I don't
remove
like
those.
I don't like the outline here. There's a lot of border happening here. Um and it's unnecessary borders, I'd say. And
Yep.
if you look at that, it's so much better already. It
Oh,
feels
that
good.
looks
For
Look,
sure.
look
It
at the
does.
menu. The
I
menu
feel
looks like it fits in. Like the
it feels much
construction of
more
the site.
minimal. I feel
Yeah.
zen. I feel at peace. I feel at
Yeah.
one with the portfolio. And again, the content in the
those are big
portfolio.
words.
Look, the content is great. I agree with Jason. I mean, it's very detailed. You got some great stuff in here. It's just remove the really it comes down to remove the distractions. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. You are like Mr.
I guess if it has to be
That is
there,
too cool.
that looks much better. But ultimately,
Yeah.
I would say lose it.
Yeah. I'm with
The
Jason
left
on
side?
that one. Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even then, like if Oguzan wanted it here, I would
Put a hamburger up top, hide it.
make
I,
it
that's
I reduce
exactly what I
it,
was gonna say.
you know, because it does like look right now without the borders and stuff, it looks really good.
It
Like,
looks
it looks
better.
clean.
I would
Looks much
still
cleaner. I
yeah.
would keep it, and it works. And the reason why I removed the borders, I get it. Like it separates sections and stuff, but there's a point in case when it works and it doesn't work. In the case that for this portfolio it doesn't work because now it looks like even cleaner, and everything hovers. I will remove that. Like the hover is telling the user that there's an action behind it. There's no action here. It's just hovering the text, right? And then when you go to buttons now, like you're thinking, is this a real
Right.
action or not? Like I don't know. Everything just you can click everything. No, you can't. So just say a one-on-one there. Quickly too, I agree. Like remove the tag. Like React is fine. I really like this case study. It is, but the thing is, like, how do you get there? Like, how do you entice the user to get there, right? But I think having the button look like this, right? The primary project details or case study or something, then I would be like, oh, hey, cool, because this animation is good. I always say if you can do it subtly like this, it makes a lot of sense because then it previews what they're going to look at. If they want to find out more, they will. They'll click on it. They'll go inside, and then now you have this whole like case study of all this stuff, all this content, and your thought process behind this is excellent. But how are you going to get the user there if they won't get there? One way that I know of is to highlight it right here in your call to action, or to have like a like they call like an ad, right? Where it's like, hey, here's my case study for this project, yada yada. Click on here to review it. I won't know that these have case studies unless if I was enticed to click on even one project. If I won't even click on one project, I don't know that you have all this detail hidden behind the scenes. So
that's a really great point.
you know, work on getting the user there faster. Then I'll be like, oh dang, this is cool. Like, I want to actually find out more about your other projects now.
Yeah.
And see what other details you have in here,
Agreed.
because the details matter. Like I just spoke to somebody yesterday and say, hey, you need to be more detailed. Why? Because when things like this come up, Like it showcases to us that you are organized. You can construct like a document of pros and cons. You can thoroughly output your thought process. You can like go to the nitty gritty and figure stuff out. That matters. It matters because if it's like a short, like if that's all you had was this, then it's like, okay, that's cool, but what's the next level? Like, are you gonna, if I hire you, are you gonna give me more or you're not? Like
Yeah.
that, and that's why the details matter.
You can always remove details. You can't add it in. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And technical documentation is such, sometimes it's a part of the job that a lot of developers don't realize comes with being able to technically document, right?
Yeah.
Accurately document the stack you're working on.
Yep. Okay, cool. Anything else on this portfolio?
No.
Overall, I liked it. I think it was solid. A couple
Yeah.
improvements, and it'll really pop.
Yep.
I agree. A couple improvements and you'll get there. Okay, next one is Miranda.
Boom. Hello, Miranda. Thank you
Okay.
for having an easy name to pronounce.
Hey, I like hard names to pronounce.
I know I have a hard last name sometimes.
All right, I'll let y'all go first.
So far, so good. I think the next scroll is going to be really telling
Yeah.
on how
Okay.
we
But,
dictate.
I mean, it says hello. I think we're missing the call to action right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back to that nav bar at the top, but implementing it there at the eye line would be really
Yeah.
beneficial. Is that a sticky nav or does it go away too?
It's sticky.
Yeah, it stays. Okay.
I'm going to do something real quick and see if it shows up. This is an accessibility test. It doesn't show up. The reason why I want to do that is, okay, if you look, oh, it's stuck. Shoot. I mean, if I refresh, it'll go away. It's calling out accessibility issues on Pastel. Uh-oh. You see that? Yeah, this one is on Miranda, but these are on Pastel. It's still funny. Okay, contrast wise, this is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see-
I was gonna say, as a colorblind person, it's a little loud for me. I'm struggling with it.
And accessibility is becoming a big ordeal nowadays. I mean, it should be, because there's a lot of, I forgot what the percentage of users that come to a site that has some kind of disability is, but it's very high. It's like
Mhm.
30 to 40%. It could be color, it could be some other disability, but you don't know. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, right? If you do the eye test here, where does your eye go?
To I'm Miranda.
No.
No.
Mine goes above that.
Yeah.
I go to the blank
yeah,
space.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine goes here because the contrast here is very good. Right. So if the contrast here is very good and that's more of a secondary action item, then I wouldn't do that. I mean, you could keep this here, right? And I'm not gonna do it again.
Yeah.
But you can create you can create those navigation items, right? But again, like this contrast here is really bad. It could be more subtle. It doesn't have to be white. It could be more subtle than it could be like a light. What is the color right now? Where is it? Oh, it's darker now. Okay. No, okay, that's a little better, right? Or even darker. No, dark is not gonna work. It could be a little lighter. It could still be a shade of purple, or actually, it's not gonna be purple anymore. Like that, right? Like it could be more subtle, like this, and then your buttons are white, and then the eye test goes to the button.
Yep.
But let's go down. I can't bring it back. Okay, then is it about me? This is the second section.
I don't love that. My initial thought again is like, let's get the highlight reel up there, put that as ancillary, and I also just feel like these like the sections are way too big. I just feel like there's a lot of scroll.
Yeah. Yep. One item I can tell right now, you can tell it's off balanced. You see that when I highlighted over that. The heading has either margin or padding at the top and it off balances this. This is more of a psychology thing, right? I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but at the top there's more space than the bottom. Y'all see that?
I say it's subtle for me, but I definitely
Yeah.
see it once you point it out.
Yeah, I can see it right away because I'm very picky. Because I work with picky designers. So you see now I removed the 20 pixels at the top is perfectly balanced. And that matters, right? When it comes to building very pixel perfect design implementations and also having hierarchy balance. Psychology wise, like it was off for me. So I'm like, oh, I'm bottom heavy, right? But once you balance it out, then it's centered. And sure, this is a simple section, but it will matter in the future when you build more complex solutions and stuff. Okay, case in point. Okay, I don't know if we do a good job. I don't
Oh,
build
here we
this
go.
site, but look at this balance. Okay, you can tell. Okay, it's balanced from top to bottom. It's
Yep.
pretty balanced. Like there's no off. It's no off weight, even though this button is below and the heading is a little bit weighted differently. There's a balance to it, and the balance shows crispiness. It shows like
Yeah.
professionalism and all that stuff, right? So if you keep looking at all the elements, this one is balanced as well. Like
There
you
is
can,
balance to it. Mhm.
yeah. And if okay, I'll just show you real quick.
How do you like calculate the crispiness, by the way?
It's a good question, Jason. Like that's such a tangible thing. Like crispiness value 99. Like
I don't know. I don't know how
That-
to balance the
Is that
crispiness.
like a Microsoft SOP or?
No.
they have it as
But-
a KPI, Jason. Crispiness.
Yeah, it's a KPI. But like okay, like it depends on the design. This design it works because the images in the right are off balanced. But like if it was like this, right, you'd be like, is it correct? Is it off? Like you question yourself, and you don't want that from your users. Instead, if it's centered like that, and it's like, oh yeah, like that looks good, like that is balanced, and I don't have to think about it. I already know that. Okay, the site just froze on me. There's balance to it. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this real quick before it rotates. Oh, go back. Did I spelled it wrong? I did. Wait. Go back here. So, okay, so now I see it's off balance by a little bit, right? And it's like, oh, it's just a little is enough. So, anywho, going back, projects. Oh. Did I do that? Did Pastel do that?
Hmm.
Let me double check. Sometimes Pastel does stuff that it shouldn't do. But overall, the tool is fantastic.
It's great for quick comments. I mean, every now and then, but this has happened once or twice in the
Yeah, it doesn't
50
happen.
minutes we've been
I just want
streaming.
to double check to see if it's on Pastel or not. It is. So something is going on when Pastel converts it. Let's see this real quick. Oh, interesting. Or it's the way that this is imported. It's coming. Okay, so it's coming from CodePen. So CodePen is the image is coming directly from CodePen. So I'm guessing that Pastel doesn't like that.
Mm.
Anywho, we can still review this. Okay, projects, memory game, shape game. There's 6 of them. What do y'all think about this section and the projects themselves?
I don't aesthetically find it super pleasing.
Okay.
Uh,
What about it is not
uh,
pleasing to you?
and the projects, it just seems kind of basic. I don't
Okay.
feel like it's highlighting a skill, and I guess the specific projects, you know what I mean? Again, I don't know this person's specific like experience level. They don't scream big project to showcase, unless maybe that's where they are. And again, I don't want to judge that, but this is something that a recruiter is going to look at, or a team to review, and it's like it just seems a little basic.
I would also add, first glance, agreed. I'm not a fan of the color scheme at all. Kind of making me wince a little bit. But in addition to that, when I go to a project page, I want to, at first glance, I can't tell what stacks were used, what was used to make this, even having some sort of, pills below the title that say, this is React HTML. I don't know what you're working with to be able to see that. Memory games, the photos you should be using should show something that highlights a bunch of stuff. Right now I'm looking at an empty screen. I'm like, oh, you developed an empty screen. Cool. Or the photo effects app. So I don't know. It just doesn't, good work on creating some awesome projects. Again, I don't want to, come across as like, oh my gosh, like I get it. Like it's really hard to, especially when you're first getting started, what projects, and this may be the only projects you have. So kudos to you.
Yep.
I would say improve the photos that show them off, add what stacks, even if it's some basic stuff. That way at glance you can see, and I would only highlight 4 out of 6. I know you want to show you're working on a lot, but I would do 4 out of 6, really highlight them, change the cards a little bit, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I'll go as far as just doing 3 because the way that this is constructed.
Oh, fair.
But if you increase and do, what I would recommend is doing a title. I always recommend this: a title, a short description, technologies used, and 2 call to actions. 1 to preview the site right away, and then 1 to the code itself. Right. If I click on this, then it shows me the preview. Right. I'm not gonna get this right. Oh, got it. Look at that. Lucky me. Is it this one? No. Well, this one. Oh, man. I'm not going to do this live.
Oh, no. I mean, I like how they shake a little bit. But the colors are...
So that's cool. Like this goes to the preview right away. But what if I want to see the code, right? Like you say that you might GitHub and PolePen, but I want to see this project right away. I can't get there. I would have to... You're making me work to get there?
I would say rather than put that down there, have 3 buttons or something, one of them being a call to action, the primary button, that if memory game is in a code pin, cool, then I can see it live and see the code all together, have the GitHub link and all of that. But yeah, I would add it to the card.
And yes, again, I say this very truthfully, that the design itself, the theme, it feels like Easter to me. And I don't know if that's what the theme is supposed to be, but the contrast is really not really good. Aesthetically, it's very simple, which is fine, but it's not enticing me to go further, right? That's the whole ordeal here. And yes, I think that these are Miranda's best current projects, and that's totally cool. But as you build more projects, like replace them with the top 2, the top 3, right? I always say go to Friend and Mentor and go to their challenges. The reason why I say that is because these challenges, they have industry standard designs and challenges that challenge you, and you could use these as your portfolio items, right? Like this one here, this is a junior one. If you build this out and put it on your portfolio, it's a lot better than these projects you have right now. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's going to make me entice me to go further. And then as you build your own projects and have better designs, replace them. Then that way it's not the same, projects that everybody else has. But if this is all you have for now, that works. Or you could just do Friend Mentor projects because there's a lot of difficult projects here. Like these Guru ones, like they look easy, but once you go in, there's a lot of functionality in them, especially like this audio file. Is that audio file?
Audio file? Yes, audio file.
Audio file e-commerce site. Like it's just a marketing site, but there's a lot more to it, right? Like there's a hero, you can check out, like the function is in there.
I tell a lot of people who are trying to find projects to work on, go to Front End Mentor. I mean, and not only because they're sponsoring our Gridiron Survivor project, which they are.
Holler.
What's that?
I said holler.
Holler,
out.
holler. But you can
Holla.
do, I mean, if you're just starting out, that's a great place just to learn basic HTML, CSS styling. And then if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying to
I'll go
break
back
into
there.
full stack, you can turn any one of theirs into a full stack app. I turned their markdown editor into a full stack app with MongoDB, and it was great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because there's these newbie ones that are very basic. There's just simple preview cards, right? And you can like I've instructed people to do this one, okay? Product preview, and they're like, "Oh, that's easy." And then they give it to you, and I'm like, "Hey, guess what? Your font's off. Your line height's off. Your button doesn't have the correct spacing. Does this work on mobile? No. Okay, well then you got to go back and make it work on mobile because it's not, pushing down. It's not collapsing properly. And there's always details that it looks easy. Yes, it is easy. But once you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's not as easy as you think it is. And that's the whole point of these projects is they will challenge you and keep challenging you and increasing the difficulty, right? There's a lot of newbie ones, and then there's junior, and then it goes up and down, right? To all the way to guru. There's a lot of projects in here that you can work on and to make yourself and to improve yourself by using industry standard designs, challenges, like per se this one, right? This one, if you look at it, it's not that simple. Because there's a lot of like off-center elements and containers that are kind of off, and that's how designers are going to give to you too. Is it's always going to be a little bit different, and you have to work around that.
It's interesting that you bring these up because
Yeah.
like that might seem simple. If that was on the portfolio, that would be the eye catch. Where
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
the Mercury project for me, that just feels like a tutorial that was copied.
Yeah,
So,
and like Matt, who owns Friend and Mentor, he says that too. Use this as your portfolio.
yes,
And continue to use it. And if you have better ones when you build your own later, replace it. But these are meant for you to practice and get better and to use them as your portfolio items
And-
because they are very aesthetically pleasing.
In addition to that, if you get the pro version, right, they give you a Figma file.
They do.
And that's a lot of front end engineers. They're going to be taking another designer's Figma file and they're going to have to develop it. So it shows that you know how to take a Figma file, how to look at it, read it, and then translate that into a development page.
Cool. I'm going to close this out.
Yep.
Reach out again, like the contrast again. Miranda, please look at that. What I would recommend, like when I see portfolios like this, I understand. Number one, okay, if you're a developer, you do not need to be a designer. Like developers are really bad designers, and that's okay. If you want to, go use a template that is aesthetically pleasing already. Bring that in, and then you can alter it and make it your own. That's fine. And here's the key thing, okay? When we're reviewing your projects or your portfolios, we do not care how you built it. We do not care if you use Next, Laravel, React, whatever it is. I don't care. What I care about is your projects. Like I'll go in and dig deep into your code and stuff and figure out what you did with it. Your portfolio, if it doesn't aesthetically please me to keep going, you lost me. 2 seconds in, okay? Like when I saw this within 1 second, I already knew. I was like, okay, I don't know if I should move forward with this. Contrast is off. That means that you may not understand the color theory and all that stuff yet, which is fine, but you're going to need to. And as we even go down one more, right, it's like, okay, this is off balance. Like it matters to me because I would have gone through hundreds of portfolios already and been like, oh, I already have 5 in a doc. If you can't beat these 5, I'm not even going to get to your projects, right? If I get to your projects, if you can't beat these other 5 again, you're not going to be placed in here for me to even interview. So how do you get to the top spot or even the top 1%, right? Is really creating aesthetically pleasing projects or portfolios that are simple projects that make sense. And just being able to go to like these sessions where it's like, here's my portfolio for you to review. Please provide me with constructive criticism. Yes, this is what we're here to do, is give you that feedback so that you can take that and go get better, because we all need it. There's no way that any of us are great professionals at building like fantastic sites. We need that feedback and all that stuff. That's why big companies like Microsoft do user studies, and do like feedback forums and stuff like that. Because even though we have data on the customer user, we don't know what the most optimal feature is. Like, we can think it's this way, but until we get the data and we understand and we get feedback, we can adjust that so that we can build something that's useful for our users and our reviewers.
Shashi, we actually had a question here from the homie Timo. He wants to know about spinning up portfolio sites with Wix or WordPress. Just choose a nice template and concentrate fully on showcasing the projects. Is that an option? Oh, you pulled it up. Look at that.
I did. Look at that. Yeah, Timo, that's a great question. And yes, if you just use Wix or WordPress, that's totally fine. Because again, right, we don't care how you built it. Sure, it has to be performant and whatnot. Like, it shouldn't take me a long time to get there. But as long as you have the construction well, like your portfolio is put together well and it makes sense and easy to get to, aesthetically pleasing. And then when you get to your projects, then I got to your projects, right? I won't even get to your projects if I'm not enticed within the first few seconds to get there. So that's a task on its own. How do you get a recruiter or hiring manager to even get to your projects, right? You have to get them there in order for you to have even a slight chance. So that's why using a template from Wix or WordPress themes, like, you can buy them too on ThemeForest or whatever. There's a lot of free portfolio templates on GitHub that you can use. A lot of people use them, and when I see them, I've seen a lot of them when I review it. I'm like, that's totally cool. As long as you have the projects that back you up, as long as you have the content that backs it up, that's fine. You're gonna get a chance, right?
We should do like a fun project with a bunch of us and just make a template for people, and just create a website for it, and people can fork it. And I don't know, that might be fun.
Well,
we got too many projects.
I had this in the making 2 years ago to create a portfolio template. One for free, one premium, but life gets busy. We'll see. But I wanted to thank Jason and Chris for coming to this portfolio review session. I want to try to do these like once a month or so, with the same individuals, different individuals. I want to get some different opinions in here, and different backgrounds too. Some professionals, some juniors, some designers, some engineers, some recruiters, because all these voices will matter. Like, my voice is only from an engineering standpoint. And so it'd be nice to hear from recruiting standpoint, design standpoint, like all this there, like color theory and spacing theory comes from my experience working with project managers and designers. It just so happens that I've grasped these concepts, and kind of understand them and can provide that feedback back to these individuals that want these the reviews. Any closing remarks from any of you two?
Yeah, thanks for having us. And I think it's just, if you just think about it from the fact that this is ultimately a sales pitch, this product, this portfolio is meant to sell you, and you want to make sure that you're doing it in the best and most logical way possible, because at the end of the day, the product is the most important thing. So feature that, you make you sellable, marketable. That's all I got.
Yeah, agree everything Jason said. Shashi, thanks for having me. I am by no means an expert in portfolios. I think I am by de facto, from people commenting and receiving very constructive criticism on my own portfolio. I enjoy providing others the same input, because like you, I think helping others showcase what makes them shine is the goal, right? So I hope anyone we reviewed, you didn't take anything to heart. The goal wasn't to rip it apart. The goal is just give you some constructive feedback.
100%.
And really hope you all take that, and you will find yourself looking at your portfolio a little differently now when you take a look at this file. So thanks again, Shashi. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to hang out and help.
Cool. Thank you, guys. And to end off, y'all make a good point, is your portfolio, I always say this, is your shop, right? Think about this. It's open 24/7. Okay, I can get there anytime I want to review your stuff. Keep it updated, keep it trending, take this constructive criticism and put it to good use. And again, if you do that and you want to do another session, just whenever I post it up, put it in the comments and we will review it. So thank you again. And I hope that we can do this next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you soon.